Previously on Alan Wake, I wrote a horror story that has come true. Thomas Zane did the same in the 70s.
You will go no further.
If I continue like the Dark Presence wants me to, the story I'm writing won't save Alice. It's a horror story. No one will survive.
You knew Zane! Thomas Zane! You're the Lady of the Light in the song!
He left something behind to help me. The clicker.
Alan thought of this as he stood on the rim of Cauldron Lake, the clicker in his hand. He took a deep breath and jumped.
I can get to her now. I can finish this. I had a hangover. My head was about to explode and the light hurt my eyes. I needed my sunglasses and painkillers to dull the pain. In one of my finer moments of self-deception.
The New York apartment is one of my favorite locations in the game. From a story point of view, its role is of course to provide the background story for the relationship of Alan and Alice. But to me there is another important aspect as well. You see, it's of course also a homage to the New York setting of the Max Payne games, and my first 3 years here at Remedy were spent working on those games. Now that we're working on Alan Wake with its Pacific Northwest theme style, that's something really different, and so for me the location of New York apartment was really a wonderful chance to sort of touch back upon those old Max Payne days and sort of go back to my roots. It's kind of like picking up an old tool and seeing if you still remember how to use it.
There was a message waiting for me on the machine.
You have one new message.
Ow! Are you still asleep? Wakey, wakey! You should have your show on your TiVo. If Alice wasn't too mad to record it. As she called me earlier and really chewed me out. Yeah, we went a little overboard last night. But parties are a part of this business. Al, look, I'm saying this as your friend. She's not doing your career any favors by trying to run your life like that, okay? I'll talk to you later, Al. Watch the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Harry Dalit Show.
Thank you, everybody. We have a great show tonight. I've been talking with the best-selling author Alan Wake about his new book, The Sudden Stop.
Good read. Go buy it.
No, it is a good read. Look, I'm gonna be honest here.
Is that wise?
No, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I got people who give me the lowdown on books. I'm a busy guy. But this one, I actually read from cover to cover. I mean, I'm a big fan.
Wow, thanks.
Now, this might be a spoiler for those who haven't read the book yet. Based on the sales figures, the 2 people out there who haven't read the book yet. But this last book is all about the death of the main character, the hard-boiled New York detective, Alex Casey. Now, there's been a lot of outrage about this. Why the hell did you kill Casey? What the hell were you thinking, man?
Good riddance. No, seriously though. 7 years and 6 books is a long time. He was a gloomy guy to spend all your working hours with, and it was a good run. But it's time to explore new things. My next book will be a departure from the old for me.
You selfish bastard, always thinking of yourself. Well, you've certainly given us a lot of entertainment over the years. And now that you mention it, Casey was a gloomy guy. Never had much luck with his love life with the ladies. Was that autobiographical in any way?
Yeah, no kidding. Casey's lady friends tended to die on him. With Casey, it was all about his pain. No, nothing autobiographical about that. I'm a happily married man. My wife is my muse.
Well, congratulations. That's great to hear. So, how's the publicity tour been treating you?
Good. Great. But I gotta say, I'm glad to be back home in New York.
Well, you've certainly been on the news a lot lately. Lots of parties and, you got into a fight with some paparazzi.
Oh, man. Well, that guy was really in my face. I lost my temper. I know that wasn't cool.
You are famous for that temper.
Well, I did also write several books.
Well, your latest novel is called The Sudden Stop, and it's in bookstores now. Go get it. That means the two of you out there who haven't bought it yet. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have for you tonight. I want to thank all our guests for the evening. Alan Wake, Sam Lake. Once more, do the face for a Sam. And our musical guests, Poets of the Fall. Thank you.
At least I'd been funny. I told myself I could live with that.
You watch the show?
I didn't say anything stupid if that's what you want to know.
Okay, Grumpy. You want to ask him something?
Are you going to start with me about drinking now?
You know what?
I should have followed
Go
her
back to sleep,
advice.
Alan.
But suddenly I was angry, mostly at myself. And she was there, a convenient victim.
What? Now you can't even talk to me?
Well, this morning I was angry because you said you'd be home at midnight and you showed up at 7 a.m. and passed out in mid-sentence. Now I'm over it. Are you angry?
This goddamn tour. It's gotten out of hand.
Oh, honey. It's almost over, right? We can get back to normal. Then you can start writing again.
I'm sorry, honey.
Alan, you're not thinking straight. Just take a shower and go back to bed, huh?
Yeah, you're right, honey. I'm sorry. Once this is over, let's go away together. A vacation. Just you and me. Some peace and quiet. Somehow, the clicker was the key to the cabin. I had to return to Cauldron Lake to save Alice. I'm going back to the lake to finish this. I'm going to write an ending to the story in the manuscript on my own terms, to make it all right.
Why can't you just write it here?
The last page is still in the typewriter. I need to read it first. Everything needs to be just right. Zane tried to cut some corners, and it didn't end well.
Okay, ready when you are.
I'm sorry, Sarah, but I need to do this alone. Barry, take her gun. Miss Weaver, close the door when I leave.
Good luck, Al.
See you later. When I got out, it was warm and sunny. I'd flicked the switch of the clicker. Had it done this? I didn't stop to question it. I had to take advantage of the sunlight to get to the lake. On Zane's page, I'd stood on the rim of Cauldron Lake, about to use the clicker. That's where I was headed. Alone, in daylight, surrounded by the beauty of the Pacific Northwest landscape. It was hard not to let doubt.
One question that's often asked about games these days is open world or linear. They are the two extremes of the same scale, and both have their pros and cons. Open world is of course all about the freedom of movement. You can go where you want and do what you want. And that's cool in itself, but by nature it fights against the traditional storytelling. Whereas linear gameplay fits storytelling very well, but that can get a bit constricted at times if the path is too narrow. We always want to tell a meaningful and compelling story, and we didn't want to compromise that in any way. But at the same time, we had lots of different scenarios and beautiful nature, and we didn't want to throw that away either. So what we did was intersperse it between the important story locations. So there is plenty of chance to explore your surroundings and plenty of cool stuff to find if you do.
was a link between us, always would be. I could feel its presence again, getting closer.
I will kill your wife.
We're nearing the end of the story here. At this point, we pretty much know the answers to most of the major questions, such as what happened to Alice, where did the manuscript come from, and so forth. All that remains for Wake now is to make his final run into the Heart of Darkness and make his final sacrifice. He's said goodbye to his best friend. He's not really expecting to come back from this one, but he's willing to do that to save Alice. I'm not really sure if you could call Wake a heroic character as such. You know, he doesn't really, he doesn't have that square-jawed look or anything, but when it's all said and done, I really don't think he's a coward. Agent Nightingale has a drinking problem and his judgment is poor, as you can tell, but he's after Wake for a reason. I know we don't really go into it very much here, but if you're seeing this, you're probably also in the possession of the Alan Wake Files book that comes with the limited collector's edition, and we kind of open his backstory up a little bit more there. In fact, if you look carefully around this room here, this Nightingale's motel room of course, you can see those very files sticking out of the air vent. We have a lot of little hooks like that in the game. At one point, Nightingale actually flew out of Brightforth with the rest of the gang and made his way to the power plant, but we kind of had to cut that part out for pacing reasons. It just wasn't working very well. It was a shame, but it's just one of those kill your darlings things. But at least he makes it through this game alive, as you know if you look through the ending cinematic of the game. So hopefully we'll see a little bit more of him in the future. We kind of have a soft spot for him.
Look after yourself. Could have fooled me, pal. Based on the signature in the motel register, Agent Nightingale had stayed here, in room number 2. The Poet and the Muse, lyrics by Old Gods of Asgard. The first verse. There's an old tale wrought with mystery of Tom the Poet and his Muse, and a magic lake which gave a life to the words the poet used. Now the Muse she was his happiness, and he rhymed about her grace, and told her stories of treasures deep beneath the blackened waves, till in the stillness of one dawn, still in its misty crown, the Muse she went down to the lake, and in the waves she drowned.
As Wake continues towards the conclusion of his story, of this story, we had the chance to create more outlandish sequences, more wilder places to really amp up the action. This field filled with burning wreckage was great, and I hope you actually find and you see the possessed monster truck. He's been around different locations during the development, but I'm happy he finally found a place to actually be here amidst all the carnage.
The Poet and the Muse, lyrics by Old Gods of Asgard, the second verse. The poet came down to the lake to call out to his dear. When there was no answer, he was overcome with fear. He searched in vain for his treasure lost, and too soon the night would fall. Only his own echo would wail back at his call. And when he swore to bring back his love by stories he'd create, nightmares shifted in their sleep in the darkness of the lake. Poet and the Muse, lyrics by Old Gods of Asgard, the third verse. In the dead of night she came to him with darkness in her eyes, wearing a morning gown, sweet words as her disguise. He took her in without a word, for he saw his grave mistake, and vowed them both to silence deep beneath the lake. Now, if it's real or just a dream, one mystery remains, for it is said on moonless nights they may still haunt this place.
To be honest, the development this final stretch of the journey wasn't quite as smooth as we'd hoped. The environment, the scope of this area east to the Cauldron Lake is massive, and we had problems in actually polishing everything to the degree we wanted. That being said, it's been great that, for example, here in the junkyard we managed to create the massive swinging crane to hang above the fight, and we did chance to create the burning piles of wreckage on the hillside.
When I told Barry my plan back in the well-lit room, I'd acted as if I knew what I was doing. I didn't. I was operating on the shifting logic of a dream. I had to fight my way to the lake through the horrors of the night. I had to flick an old battered light switch imbued with childhood magic. I had to write a happy ending to a horror story. I had to save my wife from the dark prison she was being held in.
I will never give her to you.
could see Mirror Peak in the distance. That's where Cauldron Lake was.
The nature of the Dark Presence definitely helped us when we had to make things, you know, when you actually just have to, just bigger and louder. A player is fairly familiar with the idea of trekking through a haunted forest or dark forest by this point in the game, but we had the chance to, you know, just when we needed, to throw entire boats and train carriages to the player, just creating total havoc.
now. Do as you're told.
This is the final battle in the game. You can actually finally face the tornado and fight it. We didn't want to create a complicated puzzle, but this was more about the experience. We wanted to make this a memorable moment in the game. If you look carefully, you can actually see Barbara Jagger standing in the middle of the tornado. And she's the only thing standing between you and Cotton Lake.
Alice never loved you. You will fail. It's all rigged. Your mittens.
Shh, baby. You were having a bad dream. It was just another nightmare.
No,
Everything's fine. You're home.
it wasn't a dream.
Everything's fine.
Turn the lights on. Turn the lights on!
Shh, baby. The power's out. There's no light. Come back to bed and I'll make you forget all about your fear in the dark.
My fear? It's your fear. Why aren't you afraid? You're not Alice. Turn the lights on now. Where's the clicker? What did you do with it?
At this point it's pretty much over and the Dark Presence knows that. It's still trying a couple of dirty tricks though, like dressing up as Wake's wife, but Wake isn't really buying it. I mean, you know, he knows who he married and this thing here just isn't it. The Dark Presence is kind of desperate, as you can tell. It's trying all sorts of stupid little parlor tricks to fool Wake. We get some disembodied voices later on, but none of it is going to work. Alice wants to describe Wake as the most stubborn man she's ever met, and that kind of determination goes a long way in the dark place.
Come back to bed, Alan.
Come back to bed, Tom.
You must find your way to the cabin. It stands in your way. It won't let you pass. It has no heart. It's filled with darkness. You must fill its heart with light. Don't mind him. He's Mr. Scott. Your friends will meet him when you're gone. Use the clicker.
Wake's manuscript is one of our main storytelling tools in the game, and it has a lot of power. It's not just about a couple of words on the page, but at the same time writing those pages was really difficult because we don't have a lot of space there, and you still need to be able to tell these sort of little stories with a beginning and an end, and that was really challenging for us.
I like to think that the manuscript pages define a lot of the Alan Wake experience. While they also provide relevant information on how the world works, they also gives you a deeper access of the histories of certain characters.
Right. It's a really nice way of adding a little bit of depth and complexity into the whole game, and at the same time the pages themselves feel kind of relevant to the whole story because, well, they are the story.
I especially like the idea how they predict certain events in the game as they like unfold in front of the player as written, and it doesn't have to be tied into writing.
Yeah, it's really more about the sort of creation rather than the method of creation.
There's a lot of potential here.
Yeah.
I'm leaving you. What? I'm leaving you. I'm Edson. I'm in love with someone else.
No, what are you saying? You can't.
How could you? You don't even love yourself. All you do is torture yourself to work and you won't do anything.
No, I love you more than anything in the world. You're my muse. Who are you? What have you done with my Alice?
It wasn't true. Nothing like that had ever happened.
You're not my Barbara.
Tom, let me go. I promised it was good.
And that's it for the commentary. Thank you for hanging around all the way to the end. I hope it answered any questions that you might have had after completing the game, and maybe it showed you a bit how Remedy works. Thank you.
You came back wrong. Your heart is filled with darkness.
Put that knife away, Thomas. Put it down.
Heart's filled with darkness. Cut it out. Take you back to the depths of paper.
husband refused to do as he was told. All he had to do was write what I wanted him to write. Now it's too late. It's his fault. You'll stay here forever.
Now you will never get her back.
I am much older than you. Older than your first work of art. I will find a new face to wear. Someone else to dream me free.
I could feel Alice's presence close by. I understood what I had to do now. I knew how to write the ending to Departure. There's light and there's darkness. Cause and effect. There's guilt and there's atonement. But the scales always need to balance. Everything has a price. That's where Zane had gone wrong. There's a long journey through the night back into the light.
Alice? Alice? Oh no!
not a lake.